Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Rainer, this is Rainierbooks. It's time for the weekly wrap-up, what I've read last week, and I start this with a little snippets from my Saturday walk. It's minus 9 degrees Celsius, which Google says it feels like minus 15, so it's pretty cold here in Stockholm. We have a bit of snow, and I'm showing you a little bit of the snow and of the winter out here in Scandinavia. So, let's get started. It's so cold outside. I was outside, wanted to show you actually more of the snowy and icy landscape that we have right now. Today is January 31 and I haven't set a foot outside today because it's still really cold. It's minus 11 degrees Celsius, which is, I looked it up, 12.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is a day of staying at home and of making some videos, talking about books, and having some fun inside and cooking a meal and stuff like that. Well, so let's start with a little politics. A new administration has started in the United States, the Biden-Harris administration, and everything, at least coming from over the Atlantic, is much more quiet, much more peaceful, and a lot less shocking than in the 4 years before. But I hear that what I don't understand as a European is that there is a Democratic president, there is a Democratic House of Representatives, there is a Democratic Senate in the majority, but still it might be very, very difficult to get certain decisions through the Senate, because the Senate is 50-50, as you know, and the majority leader now is Chuck Schumer, because the decisive vote has Kamala Harris, the vice president. But there's something called filibuster, with which Mitch McConnell, the now minority leader of the Senate, the Republican, has already blocked Barack Obama in the first 2 years of his presidency from 2008 to 2010. And there's a certain threat that the Republicans might block decisions again with a filibuster. The filibuster means at least that the debate in the Senate about a proposition is not supposed to be ended until it's ended, and until 60 senators have voted for to end the debate. That's a big chance of a minority party to block a lot of things, to postpone a lot of things, and even, for example, the extremely important relief for the American people in the pandemic. There's a book about this, and this is about books, right? So there's a very new book about this that was published 19 days ago on January the 12th in the United States. And this book is written by Adam Gentleson, and it's called Kill Switch: The Rise of the Modern Senate and the Crippling of American Democracy. And this book is just circling around this topic of the Senate, about the filibuster rule, how it came into being, and in which way it could be removed, because it could be removed quite easily with a so-called nuclear option. That is, when a simple majority in the Senate, which would be possible with 51-50 votes, to change the rules, to take away the filibuster as a possibility to obstruct. But there are two Democratic senators, and these are Joe Manchin III of West Virginia and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, who don't want to change the rules of the Senate. So that's the problem read the book and you get everything that is necessary to deal with this. My reading last week has not gone so well, and it seems it could be that the goal that I set up for 2021 to read as much as 60 books could be in danger, could be too ambitious. I have to look at this, let's say by the end of February, to maybe lower the number a little bit. So, because I wasn't reading so much, as you know, I finished The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Dessha Phillyaw last week. I haven't made a single review yet about it. I will do this either today or in one of the next days and put it up on the internet a little bit later this week. So that's a book that I definitely have finished. I have just read and finished a couple of chapters in Maeve McClenahan's book, No Fixed Abode, Life and Death Among the UK's Forgotten Homeless, that was published in the last quarter of the year of 2020. This is a very interesting book where Maeve McClenahan, who is an investigative journalist in the United Kingdom, in a very personal account, narrates her story of how she's doing her research and how she meets a lot of people, both homeless and people who work with the homeless. I've read a few chapters. I didn't not meet, but the first guy that Maeve McClenahan is writing about in the book is a man of my age, approximately. His name is Tony. He was found dead, frozen to death, probably close, just meters away from his home in a small English town called Lowestoft. I also have met another man that Maeve McClenahan has met, and this guy's name is Richard. Richard has been homeless for 30 years in his life. He is spending most of his days at different McDonald's branches, sitting close to the toilet because he has several illnesses. One of them is that he has problems with his bladder. Richard spends the days at McDonald's, spends the nights on buses in London when he's driving through the city of London, trying to get some sleep on those buses. His health is deteriorating. He has a lot of different symptoms, a lung illness, he has the bladder problem and other things that really disturb him, and he has been hospitalized 11 times in the last 4 months, and Maeve McClenahan is sort of following also his case. This is a very, very interesting book, and already 40 pages in now, she already has confirmed what I was thinking before I even touched the book, that from my own account, from my own visits in the UK, in Brighton, in London, in Cardiff, in Wales, in Edinburgh and in Glasgow, I had the impression in recent years that the number of homeless people in the UK is growing, and Maeve McClenahan is confirming that in the book already in the beginning. There are more and more people sleeping rough, as they say, in the UK, in England, in Wales, in Northern Ireland, and in Scotland. And even since the COVID-19 pandemic has started, and she took that up in the foreword of the book, in the preface, this number has risen again. So homelessness is getting bigger and bigger in the UK. The reason why I didn't read so much, I can blame it on binge watching. I binge watched 2 seasons, the 2 seasons that are existing of Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime. Is it Amazon Prime? Yeah. But Jack Ryan, that's my excuse, maybe a foul excuse. Jack Ryan is a character of literature as well. I have never read Tom Clancy in my life. Maybe you have. So please, if you have read Tom Clancy, please drop me a note down below. So he started writing novels about this character, Jack Ryan, who was in the beginning an analyst at the CIA. In 1984 with his first novel, The Hunt for Red October, which later became also a movie with, I think, was it Sean Connery? But it was definitely Alec Baldwin. Clancy died in 2013 after 20 years writing about Jack Ryan, and he has written around 20 novels. And these Clancy novels, mostly Jack Ryan novels, sold more than 100 million copies all over the world. And there's a cast of characters, not only Jack Ryan, but also his son, Jack Ryan Jr., who becomes the next superhero to save the world. And there are still books written about Jack Ryan and his son, because after the death of Tom Clancy, authors like Mark Greedon, Mike Maiden, and Mark Cameron have continued to write books about Jack Ryan. How much a money machine this character is, I didn't know when I started watching those TV shows. Jack Ryan starts, as I said, as an analyst at the CIA. He, I think in Lexington, Virginia, right? And he continues becoming the president of the United States, serving as a president for 2 non-consecutive terms, saving the world at least half a dozen times. That's what kind of guy Jack Ryan is, everybody. And the movies, there are movies with Alec Baldwin, as I said, but also with Harrison Ford and with Ben Affleck as Jack Ryan. They made $786 million at the box office, plus 100 million copies, plus computer games, so you guess what kind of money machine this is, right? So what I saw was the television series, 2 seasons with the newest actor John Krasinski playing Jack Ryan, saving the world. The first season deals with Islamic terrorists attacking both France and the United States. Second season is circling around Venezuela. So this was binge watching. This was a guilty pleasure that I had. And I was fascinated actually reading a little bit about Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, because there is an expression that was coined because it's so successful, because there's so many characters and even authors connected to this sort of enterprise, that there is an expression called the Rainieverse or the Rhineverse. But the Rainieverse sounds better. It sounds like universe, the Rainieverse. This is a world that generates a lot of money. Anyway, my guilty pleasure, I confessed. The Booktube spin was decided today. Rick, if you have seen the Booktube spin, Rick made a video. Put a link down below to both of his videos. He announced the Booktube spin. Booktubers should write down a list of 20 books, number them from 1 to 20, and he said that he would spin the wheel on January the 31st to decide which of these 20 books we would have to read if we join it until the end of March. I made this video, I think, last week, and I released it on Thursday. And the number that Rick already today released was the number 15. And the number 15 on my list is Bonnie Jo Campbell's novel, Once Upon a River. I didn't know so much, still don't know so much about it. Here it says, after the violent death of her father, in which she is complicit, 16-year-old Margot Crane takes to the Stark River in her boat in search of her vanished mother. But the river, Margot's childhood paradise, is a dangerous place for a young woman traveling alone, and she must be strong to survive, using her knowledge of the natural world and her ability to look unsparingly into the hearts of those around her. Her river odyssey through rural Michigan becomes a defining journey, one that leads her beyond self-preservation and into deciding what price she's willing to pay for her choices. Bonnie Jo Campbell is the book that I have to read. Once Upon a River until the end of March. I have time. This was published in 2011 in the UK, and it was longlisted, at least, if not shortlisted, for the National Book Award in the United States. That's the book that I got from the spin. The other book, we were so close to number 4, because Rick's wheel was so close to number 4, which of course it didn't come up and doesn't count, but I just want to tell you that the number 4 book would have been The Way the Crow Flies by Anne-Marie MacDonald. Well, but I'm going to Michigan. I'm going to Bonnie Jo Campbell. Also on my TBR is now this book that I started 12 pages today. It's a very slim book. The Snow Country. It's called Snow Country by Yasunari Kawabata. It's about a character called Shimamura who's leaving Tokyo, who's going to the Snow Country, which is actually very close, I think, to where I was almost 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago with my daughter. We went to a place called Takayama in Japan, which is so beautiful. I loved it so much there. I would love to go there again. And from Takayama, you can go into the mountains, into the Japanese Alps, into snow country, and that's where this novel is playing, where this character of Shimamura is visiting a geisha girl he met, I think, in town, and it's about their love. Very slim book that I hope to finish this week. What else do I have to tell you? What else do I have to say to you? I was not chosen to be a judge in the octafinals of the Booktube Prize for Fiction. Kind of disappointing, but it's okay because I know that Robert has said that those judges who don't get to judge the octafinals will certainly be chosen to judge the quarterfinals. So I will be in the quarterfinals. No problem with that. Join the Booktube Prize a little later. Also, I'm still fighting my way through 2 nonfiction books that I have to finish. And this is Joan Didian's Slouching Towards Bethlehem. Joan Didian, the great master of essays about California, about the United States, and Slouching Towards Bethlehem is mostly, I think, written in the 1960s. And Antosocial by Andrew Marantz. I have talked about this book earlier on the channel. I'm still reading these 2. I got some nice responses by you about the post-Soviet book club that I intend to start. And just let me say today that I'm working slowly on this and trying to gather a bibliography that is interesting and that covers as many of the countries possible of the former Soviet countries, but also the Eastern European countries. So watch out, please. I hope I have this bibliography ready by the end of February. So give me 1 more month for that. But watch out for my next video, for one of my next videos, which will be new books in February of 2021, where I sort of have looked at the books that are going to be published next month, and I picked the most interesting books. And one of these books that I picked for February 2021 will be a brand new translation from the Czech Republic, from the Czech language, which certainly could be a part of the post-Soviet book club. So, and on Tuesday there will be another video coming out on my channel, which is Tag Tuesday, and on Tuesday you can see the hint side is 2020, the tag video. I was tagged by Brian for Bookish. Thank you very much for that. And the tag video comes out on Tuesday. And there will also be a single review of The Secret Lives of Church Ladies one of these days. I don't know where, I don't know when. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching this video on Sunday, the 31st of January. The month is over. 1/12 of this year is over already. That's 8.5% of the year. We are not close of getting vaccinated here in Sweden. I hope that you already got the vaccine. I know that 23.4 million people are vaccinated already in the US, which is a great number. And I hope that all of us get the jab very soon, because the variants actually really, South African, I say South African, don't look too kind, don't look too friendly. But thanks for watching this video. We have to wear masks. We have to socially distance. We have to continue this life for, I think, a couple of more months, maybe even for 5 or 6 months. But in the summer, I hope we're all vaccinated and we can start being still cautious, but a little more optimistic about what is to come. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that you subscribe to the channel. I hope that you return to the channel. And if you want to ask anything, if you want to comment anything, please do it down below. I will answer. And now it's only to say goodbye, have a rest. Have a nice, beautiful Sunday evening. See you.